Prapannaparijataya Totravetraikapanaye Gyanamudraya Krishnaya Geethamrutaduhe Namaha. Om. Dear friends, we have come to the end of the 11th chapter. We have been seeing this 11th chapter, that is Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, in the last 3 episodes, and today we are going to complete that particular chapter, and maybe we will move on to the next chapter also. So we have been seeing that Arjuna, his perception, his vision has changed. That is, he was earlier he was asking about Kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi. Why are you going to drive me into this fierce battle, into this horrible act of killing people? Then after seeing this Vishwarupa, his vision has changed, and Vishwarupa has told him that there is a huge cosmic order, there is a huge cosmic scheme in which there is what is called a Srushti, Sthiti and then withdrawing, that is the resolution of the whole thing, that is evil getting eradicated. So this is a cosmic scheme. In that cosmic scheme, he is only a small cog in the wheel of that cosmic scheme. So that is what he saw. And then he requested, in the last episode we saw that he was requesting Krishna to withdraw that form. He first of all apologized for all the insults he had, or rather slighting treatment which he had given to Krishna. And then he also says, you please resume your old form. So that is where we were. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichhamitvam drashtumaham tathaiva. So I want to see your original form with your normal kirita, your gada and chakra, hasta, etc. Normally Krishna is seen in 2 forms. That is, Krishna is seen with 4 hands, with shankha, chakra, gada, etc., khadga, etc. Or he is also seen in the normal Saumya Vapu. He is going to say Saumya Vapu, that is only a normal being with 2 hands, etc. So I want to see you in that original form, in that old form. So that is what he says. Maya, then Krishna says, Maya prasannena tavarjunedam rupam param darshitam atma yogat. Okay, because I love you, I showed you this particular form. And Krishna says one important thing. This is 48th shloka in the 11th chapter. Na veda yajnadhyayanairna danaihi na cha kriyabhirna tapovirugraihi evam rupasyakyaham nruloke drashtum tvadanyena kuru pravira. So he is referring to various levels. Na veda yajna adhyayanaihi nadanaihi. So he is saying this particular vision which I have given you, this particular type of understanding which I have given you. Vision, again we have to remember that when Krishna says I am going to give you Divya Drushti, that Divya Drushti is a change in perspective, not as though he has tentatively given a small change in somewhat like changing the lenses, etc. Sukshmatam apaditam manayeva. His mind, it is mature. So a mature understanding, so that is what is called Sushma, Divya Drushti, not any other thing. Sukshmatam apaditam, a mind which has become very subtle, which has become very mature, which has become capable of analyzing things. So he has come to that level. So that is what he says, that Krishna says, this particular vision which I have now given you, it cannot be had by mere study of Vedas, because a person can study Vedas and then what will he do? He will recite it very aloud, and then he will go to a temple, and then he will very, very impressively he can recite it, and very impressively he may recite in some functions, etc. He may get some money, but the samskara which the Veda is supposed to give, he may not be having that samskara, because Veda is talking to different people at different levels. For an ordinary man, it is talking to him at the karma yoga level. For somebody who wants to do upasana, it is talking at the upasana level. For somebody who wants knowledge, for somebody who wants the ultimate reality, to know about the ultimate reality, it is also talking at the level of Upanishads, it is talking at that level. So an ordinary person who is not going through all those levels, he is content with the sound effects of that Veda. Some people say, oh, Vedas, if you listen to them, they give such vibrations. So some people are happy with those vibrations. So if we are happy with that, okay, it is like listening to music. So long as you listen to music, it is it is giving you some nice feeling. So similarly, when you listen to Veda, it is giving some nice feeling. Veda is not that alone, not that at all. Veda is much, much beyond. So that is why he says, whether by Veda or by Yajna. Yajna means what? That is karma. Merely you are doing that karma in the mode of duality. You are visualizing yourself as a small person and seeking some favor from some divine entity. Devatodeshena dravyatyagaha yagaha. That is, you are doing a sankalpa about some deity, and then you are offering some prayers and then offering some oblations into the fire. So that is yajna. So that, whether it is Vedadhyayana or yajna or dana, all these things, they are not going to give you this vision. They are not useless. Of course, we should not think that they are all useless. They are going to give you some chitta shuddhi. They are all useful. It is somewhat like a drill. This particular drill is going to give some discipline. Another drill is going to give some other discipline. So like that, they are all different levels of drills, we can say. And then he also says, Drishtva rupam ghoram. Then he says, Ityarjunam vasudevas tathoktva swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyah. Then after saying that, Krishna resumed his original form, that is, Ashvasayamasa cha bhitam enam bhutva punas saumya vapur mahatma. He became that saumya vapuhu. Saumya vapuhu means his original gentle form. Saumya means gentle. Saumya vapuhu, one with a gentle form. So his fierce form has disappeared and Krishna has again reappeared in his gentle form. Then Arjuna again says, then Drushtvedam manusham rupam tava saumyam janardana idani masmi samvruttah sachetah prakrutim gatah. Now I have regained my original form. Arjuna also says. Arjuna was earlier trembling. Krutanjalihi vepamanaha. That is what we saw in the earlier episode. That is, he was folding his hands and he was trembling. Now he says, now after seeing the present Rupa, I have regained my original, I have gained my senses. Now I am in my spirits. So that is what he says. Now my thoughts are fairly well composed and I am restored to my nature. So that is what he says. Then Krishna again says, this particular Rupa which I have shown you, it is Sudurdarshamidam Rupam. It is something which is not easily understood by people, because unless you do this Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, these 3 points which we should not forget. That is, Shravana is not merely listening. Shravana is listening to the sentences of the Upanishads which talk about the nature of reality, which talk about the nature of Brahman, which talk about the nature of Atma. So that is what is called Shravana. Shravana doesn't mean listening to a Purana. Shravana doesn't mean listening to Ramayana. Shravana doesn't mean listening to story like Parvati Kalyanam. They are all good, no doubt. Shiva Kalyanam, you listen to Lavakusha, you listen to something else, they are all good. But then, when you want to know the real nature of the self, you have to listen to the Upanishad Vakya. And Upanishad Vakya through a competent teacher. So that is what he says. Only by Shravana, Manana means contemplating on them, logically trying to validate what has been said. And then Nididhyasana is constantly applying to himself. What he listens from the Veda, he has to constantly apply. So Vedas talk about, for example, Atma Sanyama. So what is my level of Atma Sanyama? It is somewhat like, somewhat like a thermometer or a barometer. Whatever are the things which are told about the spiritual growth of a person. The spiritual growth of a person includes controlling this, say, emotions, kama, krodha, etc. Where exactly am I? With particular reference to kama, what are my readings? With like your LDL figure or HDL figure. With reference to kama, what are my figures? With reference to krodha, what are my figures? So we are supposed to see all that. And then only this contemplated spiritual change takes place. So this spiritual change or a spiritual progress is what we see in this Nididhyasana. You have to constantly apply it to ourselves. So this is, by that only one can see this particular Rupam, or one can have this particular level of understanding. Seeing means not as though you are objectifying and seeing, you are having that level of understanding. Then Devapyasya Rupasya Nityam Darshanakankshinaha. Even the gods, they don't have this vision, because gods, what are they? In our Puranic scheme, A person does some good deeds and then he goes to the Devaloka and he is one with the Devas and then he enjoys for some time. So that is what is Devaloka. So Deva is something which is a Bhoga Bhumi, where people enjoy. Whatever is the Punya Karma, you enjoy. So they are not interested in knowledge. So that is the reason why Devas also do not see this. Then he says, Naham Vedairna Tapasa Nadanena Nachejyaya. Just now I read another shloka. This particular form cannot be known by Veda, Yajna, Adhyayana. Krishna is almost repeating that thing. And then he goes on saying, Bhaktyat Vananyaya Shakyaha Aham Evam Vidho Arjuna Jnatum Drashtuncha Tatvena Praveshtumcha Parantapa. This is 54th shloka, 11th chapter, shloka number 54. This again, it requires some little bit of elaboration. It is very important. Bhaktyat Vananyaya Shakyaha Aham Evam Vidha Arjuna Jnatum. That is, he is using a word called Ananya Bhakti. What is this Ananya Bhakti? That is, Bhakti can be of different types. Bhakti, what do we mean by Bhakti? Bhakti is, okay, I go to a temple, I pray to Lord Venkateshwara, I pray to some other god, whoever is Muruga, it can be any god, Ayyappa, any god. And then I am assuming that I am something totally different from that supreme reality. So I am assuming myself to be a small person, and then I am visualizing a particular deity in front of me. I am forgetting my original, I am forgetting my nature, that I am part and parcel of that reality. So that is, Ananya Bhakti is realizing that I am part of that supreme thing, I am not different from that. So that is Ananya Bhakti. So when you say that Ananya, when you are saying that you are not different from that supreme reality, then why do you call it Bhakti? Because you are not having that ego. You don't say that you are part of that supreme reality with all the ego in you. I am Brahman. When you say I am Brahman, not that you are having an ego, but that your ego is totally dissolved. Our individual ego is totally dissolved. When somebody says Aham Brahmasmi, or when Upanishad says Aham Brahmasmi, it is not an egotistical statement. The person's ego is totally dissolved in the supreme reality. So that is what we have to understand. So Ananya Bhakti is that, where he finds no difference, and out of sheer love, like he loves himself, and maybe for Loka Sangraha, to be a role model for others, he does all that prayers, etc. So that idea of Bhakti is being introduced here. Bhaktyat Vananyaya Shakyaha, or at a lower level it also can mean, okay, this is the supreme reality, I have to know this supreme reality. So with that dedication, with that sense of dedication, so that also we can say. Then Jnatum Drashtuncha Tatvena Praveshtumcha Parantapa. He is using three words here. Jnatum means in order to know. That is, the first level is a theoretical understanding. At an intellectual level you are understanding what is that reality. That is Jnana. Jnatum in Sanskrit it is a particular pratyaya called Tuman pratyaya, that is in order to know, you will be able to know. Then Drashtumcha, Drashtum, not only intellectually knowing, but capable of experiencing it. Drashtumcha, you are able to see, in the sense that you are able to see the whole universe as a manifestation of that supreme reality. So that is Drashtum. Then Praveshtumcha, and also be one with that. Praveshtum, Pravesha means what? Pravesha means to enter. Entering into reality means what? You are part and parcel of that reality. So these words are actually very dense words. In fact, the very important concepts in Vedanta, they are being told in very simple sentences like this: Jnatum Drashtumcha Tatvena Praveshtumcha Parantapa. That is, first is the intellectual level understanding. Then slowly there is an internal change which goes on in the person, and then because of that internal change he is going to perceive things in a slightly different way. His perception changes, and then he becomes mature in that perception. That is the third level, that is Praveshtumcha Parantapa. That is, this is again to become the Brahman, and this is what Vedanta says, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. There is a wonderful statement in Mundakopanishad which says Brahmavit, that is the knower of Brahman, becomes Brahman. So this is a wonderful statement in the sense, if I know a cell phone, I don't become a cell phone. If I know a book, I don't become a book. but if I know Brahman, I become Brahman. So that is what it says, which means that this Brahman, which is called existence, consciousness and infinity, you are not different from that infinity. You can't be outside that infinity, because if you define yourself as something which is outside that infinity, you are zero. So that is what it says. So that is the reason why say this praveshtum, this particular word praveshtum has to be understood like that. Then finally he uses he says this last shloka of the 11th chapter, matkarmakrut matparamo madbhaktas sangavarjitah nirvairas sarvabhuteshu yassa mameti pandava. That is, he is using again this one word bhakti, again he is using matkarmakrut matparamaha. That is, you let your work be dedicated to me. So that is, he is talking about different levels of people, or rather different stages. What is that? Mat karma krut. We have seen karma yoga in chapter 3 and also in chapter 2. Karma yoga is say functioning according to the cosmic order, functioning according to the divine will, putting yourself in the shoes of the Lord. So various expressions I had used at that time. That is, say how would God do if he were to be in my position. So putting yourself in God's shoes, you are conducting yourself, you are, when you are doing something in your office or when you are discharging your duty in some other place, so you are having that sort of vision. So that is what is karma yoga. Then mat paramaha. Mat parama is, it is referring to that dhyana yoga. That is, this is the supreme thing. So apart from this, I do not want anything. So in fact, commentators have also said, when you are doing a particular karma, dedicating it as an offering to the Lord, Ishwararpana buddhi we say. Ishwararpana buddhi means, when you are saying I am doing this for the sake of Ishvara, you are certainly not doing a bad thing. Suppose you go to a pub and then play cards and then drink and then make merry, you can't do it with Ishwararpana buddhi. I am not doing it, it is Ishvara who is doing it, or I am giving this to Ishvara. We don't say. Ishwararpana buddhi implies that a person has reached a particular level of understanding, a particular level of maturity, and then he is doing something for the welfare of society, and that only is done with Ishwararpana buddhi. So then, that what does it mean? The commentators say that the human being, this tamo guna which is there in the human being, there are this what is called sattva guna, rajo guna and tamo guna. So this tamo guna, this dullness or inaction which is there in the human being, that is removed by this karma yoga. A person, whatever he does, a person should be useful to society also. A person should not stay in tamo guna and call it wisdom or anything like that. Tamo guna is not wisdom. Tamo guna is not greatness. Tamo guna has to be overcome by rajo guna, by doing this karma yoga. And then this dhyana yoga controls this rajo guna also. This rajo guna also, it can continue a man, it can keep a man in that level only, but that also has to be controlled by sattva guna. So the formula which Vedanta teachers say is, this tamo guna has to be controlled by rajo guna, and rajo guna has to be controlled by sattva guna, and sattva guna alone gives a person the mental maturity to go to the next level of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, which I just now told. Because unless a person is stable in that sattva guna, unless a person is gradually graduating to that level, it is very difficult for him to understand. A person with a lot of rajo guna, he can never understand Vedanta. A person who is always thinking about stock market, a person who is always thinking about his enemy, a person who is always thinking about, say, his own agenda, let us say, whatever is the agenda, so, or rather hate agenda, whatever it is. So, because nowadays we find so many hate groups. It can be religious groups, it can be political groups, it can be so many other groups. So a person who is part of that hate group can never understand Vedanta, because a person has to grow beyond that. So of course a person with hate is in that rajoguna only, but that rajoguna has to be conquered by sattva guna. So that is what this particular shloka means. Mat paramaha, mat bhaktaha, sangavarjitaha. Sangavarjita is, it is referring to this atma sayama, which we have seen, self-control, which we have seen in chapter 5 of the same Gita. Then nirvaira sarvabhuteshu. Nirvairaha, you don't have enmity with any being. So what does it mean? It is not as though Lord Krishna is telling like an old mother to a young child, hey, don't fight with anybody, not like that. Nirvairaha is arising out of awareness, Nirvaira is arising out of knowledge that he is not seeing an enemy. Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati, that is what Vedanta says. That is, it is only when you see duality, it is only when you see something other than you, then only you are afraid of it. That is, a person who is seeing Brahman everywhere. So, such a person cannot hate anybody. Even if an enemy comes, enemy from his point of view, you may be his enemy, but then you are not thinking him as your enemy. So, such a person doesn't hate. So, nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yassa mameti pandava. So, he is the person who will attain me. So, which means that what we call supreme reality is not something, it is not a personal God or anything like that. It is not having favoritism to a particular tribe of people or a particular group of people. So, this person who wants to become that, the person who wants to understand that reality has to transform himself into that level. He has to transform himself into that level of maturity. So, that is what this particular shloka says. So, then in now what we have seen, this particular adhyaya, this Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga has come to an end. What did we see here? Here we saw that Arjuna's maturity, and then at the end of the chapter there are two shlokas which are talking about bhakti. These two shlokas they are actually paving the way to the next chapter, which is called Bhakti Yoga. And then Bhakti Yoga is again a very important thing, which we will see in the probably in the next episode in greater detail. But very briefly I can say, this Bhakti Yoga is something which is suggested to anybody and everybody, because this is something very, very easy to follow. You need not be an expert in Karma Yoga, you need not be practicing Atma Sanyama Yoga, you need not be an expert in Dhyana Yoga, you need not be a great scholar in Vedas, you need not be anything. But then this Bhakti is something which can change the personality of a man. Bhakti is somewhat like that, say it is like a love, like a lover changes his lady love, or the lady love changes this lover. So, there is that sort of transformation which goes on in this thing. So, in this, for this chapter, this is again a small chapter. In this chapter also we will see that the real bhakta, a mature bhakta, he has the same characteristics as that of a realized person. For example, in second chapter we have seen what is called Sthita Prajna. Then thereafter we saw the characters of a Jnani. So, the characteristics of a Jnani, what is told in the second chapter or what is going to be told in the 13th chapter, and in this chapter we are going to see that this person bhakta, a real bhakta is going to have that sort of maturity of mind. So, we will continue in the next episode. Thank you. Harihi Om Tat Sat.